This meeting is now called to order. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Prince?
Here.
Mr. Person?
Here.
Ms. Palmer?
Here.
Mr. Corman?
Here.
Mr. Taylor?
Here.
Mr. Pavoni?
Here.
Ms. Perez?
Here.
Roll call, Mr. Mayor, all present.
Thank you, Jason. First item on the agenda is a proclamation.
Proclamation. Whereas Nestora Salgado is a naturalized U.S. citizen and an indigenous leader imprisoned in the state of Nayarit, Mexico, and whereas Ms. Salgado and the citizens of her hometown, Olinala, in the Mexican state of Guerrero, organized an indigenous community police force to defend their community, and whereas Ms. Salgado was elected leader of the community police force, and there is an established tradition of legally recognizing such groups in Guerrero, and whereas Ms. Salgado was arrested on August 21st, 2013, and has been imprisoned in a maximum security federal prison ever since, and whereas on August 29th, 2014, a letter was sent to Secretary of State John Kerry urging him to use the resources of the State Department to secure Ms. Salgado's release. And whereas the letter was signed by U.S. Senators Patty Murray and Maria Cantwell from Washington State, as well as U.S. Representatives Adam Smith, Susan DelBene, Rick Larson, Derek Kilmer, Jim McDermott, and Denny Heck from Washington State, and U.S. Representative Juan Vargas from California. Whereas both Mexico and the United States are members of the Organization of American States, OAS, and OAS has adopted the American Declaration of the Rights and Duties of Man. And whereas Article Number 1 declares that every human being has the right to life, liberty, and the security of his person, and Article Number 18 declares the right to a fair trial, and that every person may resort to the courts to ensure respect for his legal rights, there should likewise be available to him a simple, brief procedure whereby the courts will protect him from acts of authority that, to his prejudice, violate any fundamental constitutional rights. And whereas both Mexico and the United States are members of the United Nations, and member states have pledged themselves to achieve, in cooperation with the United Nations, the promotion of universal respect for and observance of human rights and fundamental freedoms. Now therefore, I, Dennis Law, Mayor of the City of Renton, do hereby reaffirm the principles of the American Declaration of the Rights and Duties of Man and the principles of human rights pledged by the United Nations in honor of Renton resident Grizel Rodriguez, whose mother, Nestora Salgado, has been incarcerated in Mexico since 2013, and declare February 27, 2015 to be Nestora Salgado Day in the city of Renton, and I encourage all fellow citizens to support the principles of human rights and fundamental freedoms. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the city of Renton to be affixed this 23rd day of February 2015, signed Dennis Law, Mayor of the city of Renton.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Prince?
I move that the proclamation be adopted.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Prince, seconded by Mr. Corman, that this proclamation be adopted as read. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. I have a copy that we'll try to present to Ms. Rodriguez. I see she's not here tonight, so thank you. Okay, next we have
Mr. Mayor?
Oh, yes, Mr.
I
Taylor.
believe that Mr. Randolph could accept the proclamation on behalf of Ms. Salgado.
Thank you.
Okay, next item is a special presentation, Friends of Renton Schools. We have a school board member. Are you present this year? Pam Teal, president of the school board, is here. Welcome, Pam.
Would you like me to state my address for the record?
You can just say Renton, we know you're a school board member.
Okay, perfect. Well, good evening, Mr. Mayor, President Prince, and City Council members. And Ruth Perez, I haven't had a chance to meet you, so congratulations on your appointment.
Thank you.
Thank you for allowing me a portion of your agenda this evening. As you know, many of you know, my name is Pam Teal, and I'm here representing the Renton School District and our school foundation, Friends of Renton Schools. I'm here to talk to you about Music in Our Schools Month. I'm sure you all know that music is an important element of a student's education. And did you know that students who study music tend to have larger vocabularies and more advanced reading skills? And did you know that students who study a musical instrument are more likely to work better in teams, have enhanced critical thinking, stay in school, and pursue further education? Regardless of socioeconomic status or school districts, students who participate in high-quality music programs score better than 22%, score 22% or better on their English and 20% better on standardized math exams. There's hundreds of these statistics, but the bottom line is that music is important in students' lives. So the Renton School District and our school foundation, Friends of Renton Schools, is joining the National Association for Music Education and proclaiming music in our schools during the month of March. To kick this off, we'd like to invite you to what we are deeming the largest Renton, it's pretty much the largest city event, of music event going on. It's called a Play It Forward concert. So there's lots of opportunities for involvement, so bear with me here. It starts at 11 a.m. and it'll end at 10 p.m. So during the day, starting at 11 a.m., we'll have free student performances at the top and bottom of every hour. Elementary, middle school, high school, bands, orchestras, oh my goodness, concerts will be performed. The Renton City Band, concert band, will perform at 4 p.m. Families and citizens are invited to dine in 5 downtown restaurants for a prefixed 3 for $30 menu. And the restaurants will give back $5 for every prefixed dinner that is sold that day from 5 p.m. to close. The restaurants that are participating are Hacienda Santa Fe, Mariana, Red House, Sugar Jazz Bistro, and Whistle Stop. And to round out the evening, because you just need some more music, we are inviting you to come back at 7 p.m. and we're selling tickets to a swing dance. We're inviting you to swing dance the night away, where all 3 of our high school jazz ensembles will be performing live 45-minute sets. And we're going to give you swing dance lessons in between sets.
Isn't that nice?
So all of this is taking place in downtown Renton at the Event Center. So we are just ecstatic. So that's this coming Saturday, February 28th. It's going to be a full day of music. Bring your families to downtown, dine, dance, listen to music. You can shop a little too. And we're going to raise some money. We're going to raise money for music. And every penny that's raised on that day and through the month of March will go straight back into the outstanding music programs in the Renton School District. So I also would like to thank John Cullum. He has been instrumental in partnering with our school foundation. If it wasn't for John, we would not have the prefixed menus from the 5 restaurants. His relationships with the downtown merchants is just fantastic. So thank you, John.
John's hiding in the back of the room.
No. So again, I just would really like to thank you for allowing me to come here this evening and share what's really going to be an exciting day of music, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And you can stop on, I would invite you all to stop on down to the Event Center. There's something for everybody.
May I ask a question?
Yes, Mr.
So
Clement.
do people need tickets, or can they just come to the event center, drop in? Or
You can come to the Event Center
Okay.
and drop in. We do have tickets for the swing dance for
Okay.
sale in advance, but we'll certainly take your money out the door.
Okay, good. Perfect. And then do they need reservations for the dinners, or just show up at the restaurants? or-
Restaurants are asking for a reservation so that they can have a general idea of how many prefix menus to lean
Okay.
towards.
Very
Those
good.
are great questions. Thank
Sounds
you.
great.
Any other questions from council?
I just have to comment, every time I've heard any of our school groups, they have been awesome.
They are
They
awesome.
just, and the other really nice part about it is that they come to help out other events, social events, and make them lively and great.
Yeah.
And the people always enjoy it. I've never seen anybody not stand up and applause and just think
Yeah.
they're all great, so.
That's-
And that goes for all 3 schools. Thank you.
That
Oh,
sounds
thank you.
terrific.
Mr. Mayor, if I could, I'll just mention along those lines. In September, the International City County Management Association, which is a group that consists of about 9,000 city and county managers worldwide, is having their conference in Seattle. The Lindbergh Jazz Choir will be performing at one of the program events in September. So
Outstanding.
we'll be performing for the entire world. So it'll be pretty awesome.
That's great.
We really, and on behalf of the Renton School District, we really appreciate the strong partnership with the city and our council. You all are just amazing to work with, so thank you.
Well, thanks, Pam.
Thank you.
We enjoy working with you too and appreciate the partnership.
Absolutely.
Thanks
But
for all
that's
your
I
hard
have.
work.
Thank you
But
very,
thank you for allowing me to just have a little bit of your agenda tonight.
you bet.
Great, thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Absolutely. Good night.
Okay, next on the agenda is a public hearing, and I see Jim Seitz is moving up to the machine. Are you part of this too, Greg, or?
Just Jim.
Okay.
Going to be short.
That was very unkind, man.
Okay, I promise to be brief. For the record, I'm Jim Seitz, Transportation Planning and Programming Manager for the City of Renton, and I'll be giving the staff presentation for the amendment to the 2015-2020 Transportation Improvement Plan, which this council adopted back last summer, August 2014. The purpose of the amendment is to include three new projects: the Sunset Lane, 10th Avenue road improvements, Northeast 31st Street bridge replacement, and North 27th Street culvert scour repair. And the real need to do the amendment versus waiting till we do an update, our regular annual update, is because we received grants last December from the Washington State Department of Transportation, and one of the requirements is that we amend the TIP before we can get started on those projects, and they do have timelines which we need to move fairly quickly on to expend those funds, so we want to get started as soon as possible. Just a little bit about each one of the projects. Sunset Lane, Northeast 10th roadway improvements. Everybody's aware of the new Sunset Park being developed in the Highlands. This is be the perimeter road for this park, along with the road that will be providing access to the library and for the new development, multifamily development. The conceptual plans call for a 2-lane roadway with parking on both sides, nice planter strip, and walkway on the development side. On the park side, there's really internal pedestrian circulation, which there'll be crosswalks and et cetera to tie into. We've just begun some of the survey work on this, and we anticipate currently the planning level cost estimate is about $5 billion. We're expecting large developer contributions for this project. It's really important that we, the city, design it because there's a lot of players involved, and we need to make sure that we have a consistent design around the park. So we're getting started on it, but we do expect quite a few development contributions because of the frontage improvements will be definitely benefiting the development along there. The next project is a total bridge replacement. It's about a $1.4 million project, but we did receive the WashDOT grant for $1.2 million. If you're wondering what BARC stands for, that's the Bridge Replacement Advisory Committee. That's the committee that helps local agencies with bridge fundings around the whole state. It's very similar to a project we just finished upstream of this particular site. The last project is the North 27th Street Place culvert scour repair. Again, this is BRAC funded. It's about a $500,000 project, but almost all of it's being paid for by the grant from Washington State Department of Transportation. This is a culvert that we've had some scouring, which is basically eroding of some of the soils around the footings, and we need to replace that before it gets any, or basically fix it before it gets any worse than it is at this time. Our recommendation, staff recommendation, is to approve the amendment to the 6-year transportation improvement plan, and also to present a resolution regarding this matter for reading and adoption. And with that, that concludes my brief presentation.
Thank you, Jim. Jason, do we have any correspondence?
No correspondence, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, this is a public hearing. I don't have anybody who's signed up to testify on this matter. Is there anybody who wanted to address the council? Okay, council, do you have any questions of Jim? What's your wish?
Move the public hearing be closed.
Second?
It's been moved by Mr. Person, seconded by Ms. Palmer, that the public hearing be closed. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. And we'll have a resolution later in the agenda. Thank you, Jim. Okay, moving on to administrative report. Mr. Covington.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, one item. Just wanted to mention that 5 of the 6 City of Renton Specialized Recreation Program basketball teams won gold medals at the Special Olympics King County Regional Tournament, February 8th. Congratulations to all members of the teams. In addition, 5 teams have qualified for the Washington State Winter Games in Wenatchee on February 27th, 28th, and March 1st. Washington State Winter Games is the culmination of the Special Olympics winter season. Nearly 1,500 athletes converge on Wenatchee and Leavenworth to compete over 3 days in basketball, skiing, speed skating, figure skating, and snowboarding. We wish the best of luck to our teams as they compete. That's all, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Next is audience comment. We have nobody signed up to address the council. So we'll move on to consent agenda. We have 10 items for council consideration. Are there any items the council member would like pulled for discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Prince.
seeing none, I move that the consent agenda be adopted as presented.
Second.
Been moved by Mr. Prince, seconded by Mr. Corman, that council approve the consent agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, next is unfinished business, Mr. Prince.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Mr. Person.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have a Finance Committee report.
Okay, Finance Committee report, approval of claims and payroll vouchers. The Finance Committee approves for payment on February 23rd, 2015, claims vouchers 335977 through 336306, 4 wire transfers, and 1 payroll run with benefit withholding payments totaling $6,176,651.70, and payroll vouchers including 723 direct deposits and 62 payroll checks totaling $1,586,735.63. This is signed by the committee chair and member.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Person.
I move the council concur in the recommendation of the Finance Committee.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Person, seconded by Mr. Pavoni, that council approve the Finance Committee report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Okay, I have a second Finance Committee report. Information Technology Reorganization. The Finance Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to approve the reorganization with the conversion of an existing business analyst or system analyst position, grade A23 or A21, to a business system supervisor position at grade M26, and retitle the GIS coordinator position, grade M26, to GIS supervisor, which is also grade M26, with no change in pay grade. This is signed by the committee chair and member.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Person.
this is an item that we approved in the budget, when we approved the budget, and this is a formality of getting the grades changed to where they're supposed to. So with that, I move the council concur in the Finance Committee report.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Person, seconded by Mr. Pavoni, that council concur with the Finance Committee report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
That's all, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Palmer.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
What about transportation aviation
Oh, I didn't have that. Thank you. I do have one.
TIP that we just
Oh.
had the public hearing on?
Yes,
Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Jason, sorry.
we do have a Transportation Aviation Committee report, amendment to the 6-year Transportation Improvement Program. The Transportation Aviation Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to approve the amendment to the 2015-2020 6-year Transportation Improvement Program, TIP 2015-2020. The committee further recommends that the resolution regarding this matter be presented for adoption. This is signed by the committee chair and members.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Ms. Palmer.
I move the council concur with the committee report.
Second?
Been moved by Ms. Palmer, seconded by Ms. Perez, that council concur with the Transportation Aviation Committee report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
And that's it.
Thank you. Mr. Corman.
Well, Mr. Mayor, unless you know differently, I'm going to say no unfinished business.
Let me just check. Mr. Taylor.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Pavoni.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Ms. Perez.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Moving on to resolutions and ordinances, we have 2 resolutions this evening.
Okay, the first resolution is regarding the Benson Hill Communities Annexation Sales Tax Credit. A resolution of the City of Renton, Washington, authorizing the City of Renton to impose the sales and use tax as authorized by RCW 8214-415 as a credit against state sales and use tax related to annexations.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Person.
I move the resolution be adopted as read.
Second.
Been moved by Mr. Person, seconded by Mr. Corman, that council will adopt the resolution as read. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Taylor.
for our audience at home, could someone make a clarification of what this is so that they don't misunderstand what we just voted on?
Sure.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Basically, when the state passed a tax credit for cities that would annex large areas outside in their annexation area. And what it basically is that we get sales tax credit from that area. That it's a portion of the sales tax collected by the state, money that we wouldn't normally have. And so it's actually, one could say it's a windfall, but it really isn't. It just barely helps us cover the cost of that annexation. And it's a limited time. We only have a couple more years to have this. And so this is we just have to go through the formality of presenting this so that the state will give it to us.
And, Mr. Mayor, if I
Yes,
may.
Mr. Corman.
And I'd also add that it doesn't affect the amount of taxes that
Right.
people in that community pay. It's just that
Right.
more of the taxes come to the city and less to the state.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Okay, the final resolution is regarding the amended TIP. A resolution of the City of Renton, Washington, amending the city's 6-year transportation improvement program, 2015 to 2020.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Ms. Palmer.
I move the resolution be adopted as read.
Second?
It's been moved by Ms. Palmer, seconded by Ms. Perez, that this resolution be adopted as read. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Jason. Moving on to new business, Mr. Prince.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have committee of the whole, a couple items. Committee of the whole on March 2nd. I can't believe we're already in March. 2015 in the conferencing center. We have 4 items on the agenda. Risk management update, Affordable Care Act Cadillac tax impact on Renton, emerging issues in human resources / risk management, and regional issues. And also, when we joined the NLC, we approved for the council president to attend NLC conferences. I am not attending this year, but Councilmember Perez contacted me and asked if she could attend, so she'll be attending NLC second week in March.
Where at?
That's all, Mr. Mayor.
Where's
Thank
it
you.
at?
Washington, D.C.
Oh.
Mr. Person.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, the Finance Committee will meet at 5 p.m. on March 2nd. 2 topics, vouchers and emerging issues and revenue streams.
Okay. Ms. Palmer?
Yes, the Transportation Committee is going to meet tomorrow morning at 10. That's February 24th in the council conference room. Just one item on the agenda, and that's the CM Design Consultant Agreement for Duval Avenue Northeast Pavement Project. And that's it.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Corman?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to announce a Planning and Development Committee meeting for March 2nd. That's a Monday at 4:00 p.m. The meeting will be held in the council conference room. We have just one item on that agenda, and that's the transportation element of the comprehensive plan. And that's all, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Taylor?
Nothing to report committee-wise, but in keeping with the celebration of Black History Month, being that this is our last meeting before the month is over, I'd like to encourage everyone at home, especially students, to pick up a book, learn something about a African-American in history, someone that you did not know anything about before. And during the last meeting, I did mention a book that you could look into. One of the books I mentioned was called Blacks in Science by Dr. Ivan Van Sertima. Another book would be Great Black Individuals by George A. Rogers. If you just Google George A. Rogers' name, that'll bring up a body of his work. One other book, too, that I would mention is a book titled Egypt on the Potomac. And this is a book that was written by Anthony Browder. Fascinating book on how our capital was constructed, emulating the layout in ancient Kemet, also known today as Egypt. And learn something different about Black history, and feel free to send me an email if you think you found something that I might want to know about. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Taylor. Mr. Pavoni.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Public Safety will be meeting March 2nd at 4:30 in the council conference room. We will be discussing ordinance amending RMC 1-3-3.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Perez.
Yeah, no new business, Mr. Mayor, but I would like to share that this past week we were in Olympia. President Prince and you, Mr. Mayor, at the AWC conference, which for me was my first experience, and we have the opportunity to meet with some of our senators and legislators and talk about some of the issues and some of the concerns that our residents have around. And we're really lucky because they were really welcoming and they heard our concerns. And I stayed there for 3 days, 2 days, 3 days, but no 3 days. Because we were the whole Tuesday loving, and then the conference was.
We'll check your calendar and verify that for you.
Well, you can check my Facebook and all my photos are there. And just to remind everybody that this is a really good time to email your senators and legislators. If they will be really happy if you contact you, especially, for example, if you want. I don't know, changes in transportation, you just go to the website, who is lec.wa.gov, or just search House of Representatives or Washington legislator, and just write them, and they are going to be really happy to hear about you. It's really easy. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, what's the wish of the council?
Will we adjourn?
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we adjourn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. So were you there 2 days or 3 days?